Today's episode is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't already heard of Anchor, it's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast. I even use Anchor myself, and from personal experience, I 100% recommend Anchor for those who want to start a successful podcast. First of all, Anchor is 100% free, which is great for beginners. Next, there are tools that allow you to record and edit episodes from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your own podcast so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to your podcast at. The best part is, using Anchor can even make you some money. No minimum listenership. Everything you need to create your podcast is all in the Anchor app, and that's why I love it. Download the free Anchor app on the App Store or go to anchor.fm. Again, to download the Anchor app, go to the App Store or anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much, Anchor, for sponsoring this episode of Readability. Welcome to Readability. I'm your host, Ashley Kelson. In Readability, we read all kinds of stories, from short storybooks to large chapter books. You could sit down with family or just lay back and relax. Every Saturday, we read, review, and recommend different books for your listening pleasure. I really hope you enjoy Readability. Let's get started. All right, let's get on to our Readability kickoff session. Today is the day where I'm finally going to review Front Desk by Kelly Yang. I love this book, and according to episode 5, my top 3 favorite books of all time, Front Desk is a part of it. I am super excited to tell you all about it and why it was a part of my top 3 favorite books of all time. As said before, 10-year-old Mia Tang is an immigrant from China who has moved to the U.S. Mia's parents have high expectations for this new life they are about to come to, but it doesn't work out as they expected. Her mother, trying to work as a waitress, shortly getting fired, and working at the front desk in the Cavalista Motel with the mean motel owner, Mr. Yao, is, really hard on them. Along with trouble at home, Mia has difficulty fitting in at her school and making friends. So, Kelly Yang is the author of this telling-of-age story and does the best job at accomplishing it, really. Wow, it's a great story, and Yang really makes it super, emotional and relatable for some kids. Funny enough, Kelly has the same experience working at a motel with her immigrated parents. After some digging, I found that a sequel is coming out soon. The Three Keys, that's the title. Isn't that crazy? Now, if you're interested, I would hop on to Front Desk and get ready for the new book. The book is around 305 to 320 pages long. There are 67 chapters. Received Asian/Pacific American Award for Literature. The publishing brand is Arthur A. Levine Books. The author of this book is the award-winning Kelly Yang. Now, if I had to rate this book, I would definitely rate it a 5 out of 5. As I've been mentioning, this is an amazing book with many topics that are great for younger readers to understand and have an opinion on. Besides that, this is a good book, and I totally recommend it for kids that are my age. And it's a thick book, so it'll last you a while. For kids like me, of course I would recommend this. When I first read this book, I was in love with the plot and all the trouble the characters go through in this book. It seems so difficult for them, and it's pretty interesting to see how they deal with it and if they do deal with it. I would recommend it to my friends so I can see what they think about the story and, everything else I'm most likely going to mention in this episode. And I would obviously think the same thing for any other book I would recommend, but I would be very curious for this one. Here are my highlights for Front Desk by Kelly Yang. Meeting and interacting with Mr. Yao is a big part of this book and helps the Tang family question if they should, work at the motel or flee and try to find another job. They even have mixed feelings about him, and even his son, Jason, makes Mia's life in school worse and worse. Next, we have Mia leading Lupe, her first friend in America. Well, that's her age, at least. Lupe was super kind and generous to Mia and was always willing to hang out with her. She taught her some things, even though they were minor, and brought a smile to Mia's face. We have finally reached the character thoughts segment. I'll keep this short and simple since I've talked about many of the characters. Like all stories, we have the good characters, or at least the characters that are more of our protagonists, much like Mia, the Tang family, Lupe, Mia's friend that she met at school, and the Weakleys, more specifically Frank. They are all amazing characters with different mindsets and backstories. For more difficult to describe bad characters, we really only have Mr. Yao and maybe Jason, his son, to talk about. They're the complete opposite from the others I've mentioned. They are extremely rude, and I bet they have a more complex background and mindset as well, but I could be wrong. I really liked Frank and his humble and joyful self. He is so kind and helps Mia with whatever she needs. And of course, I very much dislike Mr. Yao as a character for his actions. I hope this puts you in the right mindset for reading Front Desk by Kelly Yang. As I've said, this is one of my most favorite books, and I'm totally ecstatic for the 3 Keys, the sequel. Here's our official readability ending. Thank you for joining me, your host, Ashley Kelson, on Readability. It has been a really great time, and I hope you join me again next week. Remember, every Saturday we either read, review, or recommend a book for your listening pleasure. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Keep reading, folks. Bye!